cast of R&B. The cast of R&B. With Hillary and Eddie. With Hillary and Eddie. I need my own video. Welcome to another episode of the cast of R&B.
I'm Hillary.
No, I am Eddie.
No, I'm
Fox.
Hillary.
No, you're Hillary, but
say you're the Silver Fox after I say I'm Hillary. And then I make fun of you for saying that you're the Silver Fox because it's ridiculous.
Okay.
It is.
I'm the Silver Fox, damn it.
Look at you. Yes, you're a fabulous Kappa Silver Fox nigga from Chicago. Congratulations. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Speaking of Chicago, I have my Chicago brethren here today. Mr. Carl Thomas.
What's cracking?
Yes, he's an emotional songwriter.
Might I say that you guys have awesome chemistry?
It's what happens when you've known people since you were poor and both interns in this industry and had no money. Yeah, literally. The hype is gone. It's too late. We know each other for too long and too well. But let us talk about you, sir, whose voice and very dramatic linen-clad videos carried us through the early 2000s.
You said very dramatic.
Listen, I need a fan to even have a conversation with you. I need to unbutton the bottom part of my shirt so it can flow behind me and we can have a proper conversation.
You've gotta have the proper fan to really make those clothes blow.
You know
the way that they're supposed to.
Do they make those in heels? Do they make the gators in heels?
I don't know. I don't know, but it's very hard to find white gators. If you find white gators, you have penetrated the player's pinnacle.
Listen,
I feel like I live in Bed-Stuy, so I could find it. You know what I'm saying? I can find it.
Penetrated the player's
somewhere
pinnacle.
in the south side of Chicago, you can find white gators.
That was something that's not a regular thing. Although I have been known to be a fan of the knob toe, Stacey Adams, the all white knob toe. I call him the OG knob toe, like John Witherspoon used to wear. Absolutely.
You got to coordinate.
The OG knob toe. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. The reason why we're talking to Carl Thomas about knob toes is because of the anniversary of Emotional. The album came out on April 18th, 2000. It's the 20th anniversary of his debut album. And, in addition to Stacey Adams and knob toes, it also influenced so many people to wear white turtlenecks and lounge on furniture.
Actually, that was actually a beige turtleneck.
Oh, excuse me, please.
We won't hold that against you.
Please.
I understand. I understand how it is.
This reminds me of my mom being like, I would like taupe gloves for Christmas one year. We were like, what?
Absolutely, yeah.
We couldn't look it up. It was a struggle. But I see you stunning me like my mother. Yes, cream turtlenecks. So tell me about, just growing up in Chicago and being really steeped in that soul, because it comes out in your voice. Who were some of the people that you listened to growing up? Well,
I didn't really follow the convention. I was really curious, as to, who the jazz singers were and things like that, and who the classical singers were. And I can definitely say that there is somewhere inside of me, even though I do R&B, there's a jazz singer somewhere in there, I don't know if he'll ever have, you know, the opportunity to grace us, but he comes out in certain songs, you know.
So who are some of the jazz greats that you listen to that you really vibe?
Oh man, I was like a really big Al Jarreau and Michael Franks fan. You know, I saw one time, which is really interesting, what turned me on to Michael Franks. I was into the Guinness Book World Records, you know, and he had made it, you know, into the Guinness Book World Records, but with having perfect pitch, you know what I mean, on a meter, on a scale, and I just thought that was incredible.
That sounds fly.
And then I was really, you know, really enticed to get into the music, and you know, I grew up in a really cool, you know, church environment. You know, some people, the church environments they grew up in are corny.
You out here judging people's Jesus, Carl? The people's Jesus isn't cool enough for you?
No, I mean, I'm just keeping it 100. There is a difference. You know, it definitely breeds a different outlook. You know, I wouldn't judge anybody's Jesus, but I definitely judge the choir.
Well, listen.
That's the barometer.
As a soprano, you know
we'll definitely judge that organ. We'll definitely judge that organ player.
Yeah, if they can't catch it, if somebody just starts singing and they can't catch up, that's a problem.
Everybody in the church look at him like, homie, you tripping.
She said, "Amazing Grace." What are you playing?
Yeah, you know, and my mom was one of those church gangsters. She was one of those people that came to get you. You know, you up
describe
there.
coming to get
she pulled up on you in the pew.
Coming to get you. You can't sing, you can't do your thing. You up there trying to preach for an offering. Oh, she coming to get you.
Yeah, the church goodies are always the good goodies. My mom
has to coming to get you.
My mom is a singer and a choir director and a pianist. And so but my dad sings in the choir. He has like the stylistic high falsetto voice. So he's like tenor, high tenor. And so sometimes when the choir is not hitting, my mom will make this face because she hears it immediately. And my dad was like, "Can you not do that? Because we see you." And so now, you know, black church lady hat. So she just puts her hat down.
Oh, your mom
when they're not hitting.
Hilarious.
Where do your parents live at?
Northern California.
And they got church hats in Northern California?
I mean, they have black women, so they'll always have church hats. Yeah.
What? That's universal.
Yeah, the black church hats. You got to have a crown. I don't.
I've seen church hats in Switzerland.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If there's a black woman there, there's a church hat. If there's a black woman in church, there's a church hat. Yeah, so she just has to put it down to cover her judgment. She's not necessarily coming to get people, but you know, we're not very good at hiding our faces. They know.
Church is the only thing that can contend with the Kentucky Derby, buddy. You better believe it.
Oh my gosh. So tell me how, like, you know, your mom coming to get people in church may have influenced your ability to sing. Did you always feel like there was somebody?
I mean, it really didn't. It really didn't influence my ability to sing. But
I would imagine she would be coming to get you if you were not on point.
Hella great. It was hella great entertainment. I mean, you know, it was definitely.
Did you sing in the choir growing up?
Oh yeah. Definitely. That was one of my greatest experiences. Yeah, I learned a lot of lessons. You know, like I'd say the most thing that the choir, you know, being a part of that to teach me how to musically work together. I think after that choir experience, it was easy for me to join bands and to have those experiences with groups and things like that, because I learned, you know, what that meant. You know what I mean? To work with somebody else's vision. you know, that laid the foundation for me to be able to, you know, work with any type of producer. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So tell us a little bit about, you know, just getting to Bad Boy as a Chicagoan. It was a little like, how did that happen?
Well, the thing is that, you know, I moved to New York when I was a teenager. So I've actually spent more of my life in Brooklyn than I have.
Who got a dog? Because it's not my dog. Whose dog is it?
Oh, I have two of them. Excuse me. I'm very sorry.
No, please. I love it.
Yeah. It's all right.
This is in the time of COVID, child. Everybody gets a voice.
Yeah. Oh, well, they got their voice. You know what I mean?
So quickly, as a disclaimer, before you go into your Brooklyn story, our last interview was actually with Troy Taylor, and
yeah.
So you gotta talk.
Absolutely.
We didn't ask him about the you know, you integrating into, you know, what he was doing and into Brooklyn. So you have to tell us that story. We wanted you to tell us.
Well, that's crazy because it's all the same story. You know what I mean? It's really all the same story. You just kind of got to it before I did it. You know what I mean? But it's really, you know, Troy got an opportunity, you know, to get a situation, a publishing deal. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't much, but it was enough to be heard. It was enough for him to want to put his friends on. I was, you know, just kind of accelerated as a teenager. You know, I didn't really have that normal teenage experience. I was always, you know, singing with this group, that group, this situation, that situation, and I was always the youngest one there. You know, so by the time, you know, I was 16, you know, I was pretty much emancipated, you know, and you know, I ended up in Brooklyn, you know, with Troy. Troy is originally from New Haven, Connecticut, in actuality, but you know, I just kind of was able to latch on to the opportunity that Troy had, and he took me with him. You know what I mean? He took off as a producer and songwriter, and you know, he decided to take me with him. You know, and he decided amongst himself that he was going to teach me how to be an artist. Mm-hmm. So the first thing he did was, you know, teach me how to properly write songs. You know, that structure.
What were some of the lessons that have stayed with you?
I mean, just one of the main lessons as a songwriter that I learned from Troy was always be direct and clear about what it is that you're writing about. Always make sure that your message is direct and clear. You know, even if the message is a simple message, you know, just, you know, don't try to stray too far away from, you know, it's okay to be artistic, but at the same time, you want to respect, you know, people and be able to be relatable. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, how did you end up on Bad Boy?
Well, that was just a situation to where I remember how it happened. As I was doing an open mic called Chaz and Wilson's, and Biggie got invited to be the opening act on R. Kelly's 12 Play tour at that time. And I remember, I think he came off the tour on a Sunday. I think he got back to New York on a Sunday morning. And I guess they were looking for somewhere to celebrate on that night, that Sunday night. So, they all came to my spot. I knew them from the neighborhood and whatnot in Brooklyn. And they all came to Chaz and Wilson's just by coincidence. And Puff was with him. And, he walked in and I just happened to be, on stage rocking and doing my thing. And after I got off stage, me and him had a conversation. I think we, had a conversation in the kitchen at a restaurant. In the kitchen at a restaurant, we had a conversation. It's real cool. I definitely understood what he was trying to do. He definitely understood what I was trying to do. And we exchanged numbers and just, formed a relationship from there. And the deal came out of me being at the studio, just, us working together.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then 12 Play was 93. So you...
Nah, that was like
94.
Yeah.
He was on tour for it, so it was like
94.
95.
12 Play was 94. The tour was 95.
Okay.
The tour was in 95. At the end of 95, as a matter of fact.
Okay. Because I'm like, 95. You were on Biggie's "The World Is Filled" in 97, which means you recorded it before 97.
So you were singing in the church on Pimps and Hoes.
Well, no, man. What's crazy is that "The World Is Filled" was actually a poem that I wrote in high school. You know what I mean? It's a whole second half to that.
Oh,
let's hear it.
The chorus that I use, absolutely not.
Okay? Why not?
Thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen.
This is definitely not. This is definitely not the format. This is not the format for those lyrics. Okay.
Can only imagine.
But yeah, I was very much in high school. I was very much into Donald Goines, and I guess that was just
okay.
Yeah, that was just I was into Donald Goines just as a writer. Period. I think I read all his books.
I read Ice Force and I felt like
was really
as I was reading.
I mean, I was really fascinated just by the magic created in his words. It was very, very, very. Donald Goines, very interestingly enough, he was very knowledgeable on how to cast a lot of powerful spells. You know what I mean? Just a lot of really, really, kind of scary stuff when you think about it.
Oh, it's very
yeah. It's really intriguing. It helps you understand the world around you. It helps you, those books help me understand my neighborhood. It helped me not be so judgmental. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It helped me look at people different.
Fair. And so
it helped me look at people with empathy.
Got you. So when you say that this came from a poem, were you just like in the studio like, yo, I have a poem about pimps and hoes you might like?
Nah. It was actually it was the music that before they put any rap on it at all, Puff played the track. And the track seemed to fit those words. You know what I mean? The track seemed to fit those words.
Wait a minute. I have some lyrics for
that. Yeah, absolutely. Like I have thousands of ideas in my head that just don't have the right fit, and they come out at the right moment. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They come out at the right moment. Like I just did a track the other night from a melody that's literally been in my head since kindergarten.
Wow.
You know what I mean? That
I can't remember what I did like last year, but you can remember something you did from kindergarten.
Oh no, man! I have the memory of 10 elephants. No, very, very, very acute and detailed.
Okay, so good. This is because we talking about something that happened 20 years ago. So tell us what it was like recording Emotional between like 97 and 99. What was that process like?
Well, here's the thing is that, I've just recently examined what that was like, because while you're doing it, what it actually is, or it isn't, is up for everybody else to say. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily up for you to say, because it's hard to see that you're a part of this great novel when all you are is just a letter that is a part of a word, that is a part of a sentence, that is a part of a paragraph, that's a part of a page of a story that's not even done yet. You know what I mean? So
that's an interesting take.
Yeah, I mean, it's a story that's not, so you don't look at it like that. You know, you want to know in a very simple manner, how that felt is we were young kids looking at what Puff did for Jodeci.
How old were you?
Looking at what Puff did for Mary. Looking at what Puff did for this group, for that group. Looking at what he did for Big. Going, hey, yo, man, we want you to do this for us too.
How old were you when you recorded that?
Oh man, maybe 24, 25 years old, 24, I think, years old,
So how was it working with those cats? Because most of the stuff that they had done, like, yeah, they worked with Faith and yeah, Mary, but it was a little bit more like hip hop leaning with Mary, not so much Faith, obviously. So then like Hitmen were more like, sort of shiny suit era rap. So what was it like?
Well, here's the thing:
was there a transition?
Once again, you gotta understand that's all a matter of perspective. You know what I mean? Because if you ask one of the Hitmen what that era was like, none of them would relate the era to shiny suit.
That's just the call phrase. It's like all the people who were like,
yeah, but what it does do is it somewhat diminishes the machine. It somewhat diminishes the machine because, like case in point, when you are dealing with a musically uneducated generation, and I'm using that word generation sparingly, I'm using the idiot's definition of that word.
Go be the old nigga at the club, Carl. Don't back up now.
Not the real definition of the word.
Don't back up now, Carl. You're already out there.
Well,
where your mom at? Gather us.
Here's the thing is that when people use that word generation, it actually means a group of people who are alive at the same time.
Thank you.
And that's what it actually means.
How does it sound, Carl?
But they actually modified the definition for numbskulls and Joe Rockheads. So they just like updated the definition to mean people within a 10-year span. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, so yeah, they will give you the Joe Rockhead version of things,
Are you out of the hole that you put yourself in or nah?
No, I don't think it's a hole. I think it's actually comedy. Like, I think it's actually comedy for me, because come on, I mean, you know, I dwell in a different dimension of sarcasm. So it's like,
I might be able to take you, son.
So
You're not
like,
ready.
But it's not a competition. See, that's the
Everything's
whole thing.
A competition.
No, man. It's a sharing. It's a conveyance. It's a conveyance.
I'm here for this connection.
I don't want you to feel. Look, I don't want you. I don't want you to feel. I don't want you to feel defeated when I slaughter you.
Oh my God! Do I feel defeated?
Challenge.
I think this nigga just Gregory Hines tapped me. I think he did. I think he did. I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. He tapped me. He Gregory Hines me.
Oh,
I don't appreciate that. I don't
tell you, man. Language is fun.
No, it is. But so obviously we know that the Hitmen didn't just do shiny suit records.
Yeah, definitely. It was. You can't see the thing about that is we just didn't have. That's the only thing. That's the only thing that makes Bad Boy different. That made the Bad Boy experience different. Like, people constantly talk about Bad Boy and the era, and I understand why they mention it like that, because when the cookie jar is on a shelf that high, not everybody is privy to a cookie. So I mean, you know, so people got to talk about it like in a diminishing way, because it has to look like we didn't rule radio. You know what I mean? It has to look like that. I'm not
saying that, because I feel like what I'm saying
is, for the most part, like when you look at stupid things like the 50 greatest producers, right? And then you look at
we saw
one.
It
you
was
look at one,
obviously.
but you look at one. You can't look at one producer on the charts that had a label and ran the radio at the same time.
Yeah, no, I mean,
all them other cats, they just have popular music.
Oh.
They just have popular music.
Bad Boy culture.
But there was nobody that's what I'm saying. There was nobody that had 20 records on the charts at one time. That's unheard of. That's Phil Spector, you know what I mean? Berry Gordy, Al Bell level. You know what I mean? That's you start talking David Geffen. You know what I mean? You're talking things like that.
Roster of
you're talking about things that if we put all of this stuff on paper, like, man, everybody, you know, that had a chance to attend the Bad Boy reunion tour, until you got.
I'm still really sad about that. Please don't bring it.
We're going to do it again. We're definitely going to do it again.
I'm still salty about it. I didn't get a chance to go either.
But everybody that saw that show never realized or was reminded when they got there of just how long the winning streak was. You know what I mean? Like, out of everybody, we had the longest winning streak. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I don't care who wants to debate that.
Yeah, you sound like you want to fight about shiny suits, because I really just wanted to talk about making your own record.
And
after quarantine, Carl, wear your white knob gaiters and let's get
I also know that you secretly have a shiny suit in the closet.
I wish I did. All I have is my leftover granny's Patti LaBelle.
You have what?
Not only do I have a shiny suit,
he does. For sure.
I have a white linen shirt. Be clear.
Yeah, but she got that suit. She got that suit that Eddie Kane had on.
Oh man, I wish.
Remember when he came back after they replaced
as if there's another scene that people when they bring up Eddie Kane, Carl.
Eddie
of course
Kane
Jr. That's the one.
Of course we remember.
Y'all were good tonight. Y'all were good tonight. This new direction you're going in.
I like it. Hold on, nights like this. And then everybody's like, damn, life really comes at you fast, Eddie Kane. Life really comes at you fast. But let me ask this question a different way. No. Was there any sort of like massaging that you felt like you needed to do, or do you already sort of knew that the Hitmen were like, cool, like we've already worked on these other R&B projects and you want to maybe do less hip-hop or just more gospel-y or just more like emotive linen suit music? Like what was your vibe?
I think that
the conversations that you all had.
I think that one of the biggest lessons in the music business that I learned is to never reject the vision before you understand it. So I always went into projects because one thing I realized as making a living as a songwriter is something that Troy allowed me to do before I got to Bad Boy. So one thing I understood about making a living as a songwriter is the best songs are the best musical marriages. You know what I mean? That's the best songs. The best come from the best musical marriages. And a lot of times people are so much into their thing that they can't listen to somebody else's thing. And that happens a lot in music to where, you know, you hear something in your head a certain way to where you've robotically programmed yourself that this is the only way that it can get done. But it, you know, art shouldn't be perceived in that manner. You know, it's a beautiful expression. It's still a beautiful expression, even though it's a shared expression. So I approach the Hitman like, okay, you know, I know my vision for me. I'm just interested in showing you guys who I am as an artist, you know. Like a lot of times before I would work with one of the Hitmen, I would invite them out to watch me do my thing in open mic, you know, and that way, that was a way that they could see what it is that they were working with, you know, as opposed to, you know, the hooks and things that they already heard me doing. You know, I felt like it was my responsibility to, you know, I felt like the burden of proof was on me, not them.
So how involved were you in the creation of the Emotional album? I mean, obviously they had the Hitmen, they had great writers like Mario Winans.
Well, the thing is that you know, the album was definitely my handprint and with Puff's vision, you know, my handprint with Puff's vision and Harv's guidance. You know, and that's really what really made that project, you know. My handprint, Puff's vision, Harv's guidance.
So did you come in with concepts of, you know, like obviously your biggest
record? Oh yeah, I mean, you know, Puff was just so experimental with it, you know, that there wasn't you know, it was always like, okay, yeah, try it, man. Let's just see. There was a lot of records that didn't make that project. One day I wanna, you know, let people hear some of those records that didn't make Emotional. You know.
Well, I'll provide the platform to release those records, but we'll have that conversation separately. Continue.
Eddie's like, you can drop them here. So wait,
but that would be fun, though. That would be fun.
So when you did I Wish, did you realize it was going to be such a hit record when you recorded it or when it dropped?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. I've always had a lot of fun in my whole life predicting what records we're going to do and what artists we're going to do. I've had a lot of fun doing that. And You know, I knew what I wish was. You know, I definitely understood what it was. I didn't have to really fight with the label or anything like that. They understood what it was as soon as they heard it. It was a no-brainer for everybody.
Mm-hmm. That was making the soundtrack to my junior year in college.
Oh, okay.
The struggle.
Okay.
It sounds like.
Did you get slammed in your face?
Absolutely.
Was there an extra family?
By a couple of women.
Somebody was married and
felt horrible.
They weren't married, but you know, I was like, you know,
it felt horrible.
I could.
You found out.
I'm a shower singer.
Guy?
I'm a shower singer.
You were the side guy.
I definitely was
and
not. Well, actually,
justice for side pieces.
I was a side guy in one relationship. The guy was in jail. He was gone for a year, so I was technically the side guy for a year. So
no, you the man of the house.
Well, I was in college. This was like the man of the dormitory.
If he in jail, you're the man of the house. Oh, you're the man of the house. What are you talking about?
All I could afford was Jack in the Box, but again, a whole different concept.
Listen, curly fries, those curly fries.
But I mean,
when somebody.
But you gotta understand. Like, I Wish is the disgruntled story.
Well, is that an actual story that, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. It is the disgruntled story of a side dude.
So were you a side dude?
that didn't know he was the side dude?
So you were the side dude?
Absolutely.
I got to hear this.
You know what I mean? So, you know, the record, you know, there's a lot of content. It's like the record is like a brief synopsis of the details involved in that, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of extra content that, you know, one day, hopefully, you know, I will be able to share that content, you know.
My question is,
but I don't want anybody
when the real
to go to jail.
Wait.
You know what I'm saying? No, I'm playing.
So wait, when the person the song was about heard it, were you like, what did they say? Were they like,
I don't know. I have no idea what she thought. I was in my 20s and extremely, you know, insensitive, and as far as the music was concerned, and you know, just very rambunctious when it came to what I wanted to accomplish or what I wanted to put across. You know, I've written songs about a lot of people that I don't like or haven't liked. You just don't know that I wrote those songs, you know, like, you know, like my, you know, sometimes my petty is in my pen.
Look at Carl Thomas coming out like a Taylor Swift. Who knew?
What song would you be referring to?
Like records like You Ain't Right.
You Ain't Right.
Emotional. Yeah. I'm working hard, 50 hours a week, paying for the car and the house we have built on the boulevard. And as soon as you get home, you want to start with something negative. And besides physical, what do you give? And you make lots of noise for someone who sits at home all day watching One Life to Live. Woo. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just found a poetic way to complain, because no woman likes a complaining man. Oh man, if you want the panties to be pulled up real fast, just start doing too much talking and complaining.
Facts.
I can attest. I can co-sign.
The panties are coming up. I'm telling you.
the food's getting put away. The chef ideas are being tossed out the window.
She ain't making, you know. Yeah. Cancel that sandwich. Cancel that sandwich I was gonna make him afterwards.
You want a mac and cheese? Not today.
Speaking of poetic, you know, Malik Youssef is one of my good friends, and one of my favorite records on the album is Trouble Won't Last, and the poem that he did when he says, I knew that my best friend was meddling, but I continued peddling. What was it? got arrested before I got rich, trying to make some scratch like a trigger fingers that itch.
That itch, yeah.
Yeah. She told me she'd call me an ambulance if I ever called her.
If I called her a bitch, yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
That was a bar. How did you link with Malik Youssef on that?
Well, Malik and I, you know, were next to each other in the county jail, and no, I'm kidding. No.
It's like, run that back, Carl.
No. Malik is
story.
Malika's home team. No, Malika's home team. You know, I don't know if you're a creative personality, in Chicago. There's no way you cannot know Malik. You know,
of course.
And at that time, you know, he was extremely just on fire as a young poet and activist. You know what I mean? He's still, you know, I haven't heard a lot of poetry that Malik's done lately, but he's still heavy into activism. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was an honor, you know what I mean? I didn't think I asked him to do it, and I didn't think he would. You know, I didn't think he would, but because I didn't really know, you know, a lot about Malik's range of what he would and would not do, or what he thought about himself, where he could and could not go. But he was like, yeah, you know, not a problem. I was a fan, you know, hearing him on Commons Project. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, how I really got a chance to really, you know, seek Malik out. Like, I really need to know who this dude is, you know. Now Malik is, you know, one of the closest, you know, friends of my family, mm-hmm. You know. Yeah.
So what are some of your other favorite records on the album?
I really like Hey Now. You know what I mean? It's a record that I get an opportunity to really take my time with. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do a performance on my Instagram Live this Saturday night. But I'm only gonna do B-sides. So I'm only gonna do the records that people aren't used to hearing. Mm-hmm. Those album cuts, you know.
So I get to hear "Lady Lay Your Body" because that was my jam.
The beautiful thing, yeah, absolutely, you do, absolutely, you know. It'd be, yeah. Okay.
Woke up in the morning, right. You were not there.
Yeah. We're gonna.
A poetic way to complain. I just keep hearing that.
Yeah. You know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, you got.
Yeah, I woke up one morning and she definitely was not there. But again, it's a whole different conversation.
Maybe her man came home. Day. Saying she ain't need the curly fries.
Are y'all both in Chicago?
Brooklyn.
I'm in Jersey.
Okay. What part of Jersey?
Right over in right across the river in the Edgewater area.
Okay.
Hillary, where you at?
Right off the 1 and the 9.
Yes, sir.
Live from Bedford Stuyvesant.
Brooklyn. And you in my old neighborhood.
It's the best. What can I say?
No, it's gentrified. Shut up.
Yeah, I used to live at 430 Clinton between Gates and Green.
I used to live at 227 Gates Avenue.
You really lived in a
literally right around the block. I used to eat at Country House every day.
Wow, I've heard about their pancakes. Never tried them.
I would like to point out that pancakes.
I have to shout out Eddie actually living at a place that was called 227. Like, for real?
What's the
like
irony?
You never
you get 227 Gates Avenue in between
no, the irony is the 227. Like, you get that, right?
No, but the crazy thing is that I know that building.
My building?
Yeah.
227 Gates Avenue between Class and
Yeah, man. Like I hope I ain't smashed nobody in your building, man.
I mean,
I don't know. Anyway, I kept it in the neighborhood. Anyway.
That seems safe.
Kept it in the
neighborhood. Yeah, best style is fly, boy. You crazy?
No, it's great.
A lot of fine women with tight waists and big bouncy booties walking around in the summertime.
Man,
what are you talking about?
Summertime.
Right.
Outside.
Yeah, I hope we're fortunate enough to have a summer this year for real, man.
I mean, it's gonna be hot. We shall see what happens. But back to the emotional album.
Whoa, speaking of summer, let's talk about Summer Rain.
Heavy D. Yeah.
Talk about Summer Rain.
Summer Rain was produced by Heavy D and Warren Campbell, and it was written and arranged by DJ Rogers Jr.
Wow.
Out of Los Angeles.
I haven't heard that name in forever.
Yeah, DJ. You know what's crazy about that record, man, is that I recorded that record, but after I got done with the first verse, I was like, you know, like I knew I had one, but it wasn't until I actually put my voice on it that I was really sure of what it was.
So, and where did you shoot the video for the record at?
In the grill. In the grill.
It feels like Jamaica. It definitely.
Yeah, in the grill, just in a regular neighborhood. Like I got my homie at Nike, you know, to send me like a box of 100 Air Force Ones, and you know, we just went around the neighborhood passing out new sneakers, and we was good.
Good in every hood.
Yeah, nice. We was good.
Didn't have to worry about the gully.
We was walking around. People was inviting us up on the porch to have fish stew, you know, with them. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was. Yeah, good time.
Get you a team.
Jerk chicken. I had to look at the video last night. That young lady that was in the video she was very
Daphne Duplay.
She was very pretty.
Yeah, Daphne is a mom. I think Daphne has 3 or 4 kids, married. You know what I mean? Doing really good. Really happy.
Nice.
You know? Yeah.
So talk to me about Emotional, because that song I need to hear about the fans that were used. I need to hear about the
God, are you talking about the video?
I am talking about the video, Carl.
The video was done by Marcus Rayboy. It was done by Marcus Rayboy. Marcus did a lot of videos at that time. Marcus actually did Friday After Next for Ice Cube and Matt Alvarez, you know, and a few other movies, you know, I'm sure you would know about. But he just came up with this concept, and he definitely had to sell it because initially, you know, they wanted me to wear sandals. I was like, yo,
that wasn't gonna happen.
Out. I was like, hey,
there's a lot of water in that video. So
hey, yo, check this out. We're not showing one toe.
Why don't men? Why
do men
walk around like they don't have toes? Y'all got toes.
We're not. Listen. Negative, Captain.
Negative,
Captain.
This makes no sense.
We're not showing. I'm not. That's not. That's not what the Lord is calling for in these last and evil R&B days.
That's what
people can't wear sandals.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, that's just not.
Yeah, Chicago niggas, that's not what we on.
No.
Y'all gotta have them covered up. It's so hot there, though.
We got crocodiles. We wore crocodiles. You know how you see dudes in New York with Timberlands in the summer?
You can wear the moccasins that I had on. Okay.
Listen, I'm a
Negative, Captain.
Put your toes out. I'm from California. Let them breathe.
Yeah, but we ain't in the park. Okay, we're filming a music video, and no, you're gonna take those Air Jesus joints off your feet.
Okay, so you fought with him about the sandals, but you were fine with the mini fans
Oh
and the
no,
outfits.
oh no! I mean, the concepts of the videos. It took a lot of emotional. Took a lot of It was in the beginning of a lot of the computer graphics. Puff was into a lot of expensive shit, man.
Shocking.
Whoa.
I'm so surprised,
thing
Carl.
no, I mean, just he wanted to look. He was just more so concerned about it looking like a story, it looking like a fantasy. He always believed that music is supposed to be, or is supposed to partner with the movies. And that's just what he always believed. It's supposed to look like the party you want to be at. Whenever there's a club scene, it's always supposed to look like the party that, wow, like, where's that party? You know what I mean? It's always supposed to look like that.
And so this one was supposed to look like emotional, wind-blown man, poetically complaining,
I don't necessarily know. You can call it, a few things. But it's ultimately supposed to translate as something organic. You know what I mean? It's supposed to translate as something like that. Something that doesn't have to do have to do with a lot of machinery or a lot of modern day life. Something that just has to do with the bare necessities. I think it did it. I think it went a long way in translating the simplicity of the song as well, because as much as it cost a lot to make that video look the way that it did. It was also very simple too. You know what I mean? So people like simple.
Not a pain face. You looked stressed.
A lot of conveyance.
Yeah. Emotive faces.
A lot of conveyance. Yeah.
Looking over the shoulder, but stressed.
Yeah.
Looking straight ahead.
I think you've watched that video too many times.
Definitely watched it.
Probably.
I think you've secretly done that video in your own bathroom.
Listen, I'm doing it right now. We're on a Zoom. I'm doing it with you. I just don't have a fan.
No. I mean, no. Check this out, Eddie.
Talk to me.
I think that she's in the bathroom with the door locked with white linen on.
Listen, I got a toddler. I can't wear white. This T-shirt is.
No, wait a minute.
I said this T-shirt is risking it. I'm taking these penitentiary chances out here with white T-shirts and toddlers. Listen.
But the toddlers, like you said, her toddler's asleep right now. Look, right after this interview, it's gonna be moccasin time in the bathroom.
Listen, I let my toes out. I'm not afraid. Be free. Let my toes out. But the question I wanted to ask you, Carl, about emotional is the Sting sample, right? So it's The Shape of My Heart, and he's notoriously sticky about like letting you have it, keeping your money. So how did that work out? Were you able to come to an amicable?
What do you mean?
So, for example, recently with a Juice WRLD sample, the Chicago rapper that recently passed away, he had
The Shape of My Heart.
Yeah, the same sample.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, it's cool. Y'all can take it and it's good. And this is our split, whatever. And then the song blew up and he was like, actually, I'm going to need 100% of that.
Well, the thing about it is that we played that record for him before we released it and he loved it.
Really?
And and he loved it. And so that was, yeah.
That was the thing that let you keep your money?
Well, that's the thing that didn't pose a business problem for him, and he wasn't greedy. You know what I mean? He wasn't greedy about it, and it kept the album on course. Being able to keep that record, it kept the album on course because it, in hindsight, I don't think that it would have had the same effect with the album being named I Wish or the album being named Summer Rain. You know what I mean? It just, everything happened the way it was supposed to happen. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then what would you say is sort of, coming up with Puff, and so many people complain about like not being paid, like Mace most recently, and then obviously everybody remembers the Locks calling him out on live radio, being like, give me my money.
Well, you got to understand that a lot of these entertainers that you just mentioned, Bad Boy was their first official opportunity.
Right.
So
as it was for you, correct? After Troy, right?
No, because Bad Boy was just the first record deal that worked. It wasn't my first record deal.
Oh, where were you signed to before?
You know what I mean? It wasn't my first record deal. It was like the third situation. So I got a very good deal from Puff because I had been in a bad one. Like, if you ever want to know how to get a good deal, be in a bad one.
Be in a bad one.
Be in a bad one. You'll know everything you're not getting. I mean, I think that he was a little frustrated because, we negotiated for almost a year. Wow. Man, I don't think he's ever negotiated with anybody that long. So, but I think he became frustrated with that process. But outside of that, nah, I didn't have those kinds of, me and Puff didn't have business clashes. We had creative clashes in the studio, things like that. I like that record. No, I don't like that record. Those type of situations. But, and me, when I came in, I was a little bit, I was more seasoned and a little bit older than those guys. You know what I mean? So, they hadn't had an opportunity to really, run that circuit in the manner that I did, from the world tours, being a background singer, placements and records on the radio with this group, that group, this album, you know what I mean? So I definitely was a worker bee. You know what I mean? It wasn't just, oh, he can sing, let's get him a record deal. It didn't happen like that. I was immersed in the business, which is what ultimately led to that opportune moment. When I was doing open mic that night that Puff walked in, I, at that point, felt so burnt by the business that the open mic circuit was the only place that I felt comfortable. Just going back to that live stage thing. And that live stage thing is what ultimately led to my greatest opportunity. Mm-hmm. So it all worked out the way it was supposed to work out,
Okay. All right. So to wrap it up, back in 2000, Vibe gave your album review. They called you a heartbroken heartthrob and said you were at your best when you were lovelorn and with your emotions laid bare.
What the hell does that even mean?
That's because, first of all, yeah, what does that even mean?
And sounds like a less poetic way of saying,
and second of all,
way to complain.
And second of all, it sounds like Vibe never wanted to see me happy. That's what it sounded like.
The Mary J. Blige curse.
It sounds like they never want.
I want to hear I'm going down. You need to be sad. You be making better records when you sad.
Oh yeah. That's true. They do treat Mary like that.
They do.
You're right.
And to be fair, she's very good at being sad. She's really good at being sad. But she's also very good when she's just fine. Fine.
Right.
I see what you did there.
Did you? Thank you.
I have some type of like sound effect for that somewhere. So.
It should just be somebody peeling an ear of corn. That's what it should be. But you can't hear that, unfortunately. What would you say is the staying power of emotional? You said earlier that this anniversary was happening during a very chaotic time for the world, and you hoped that it would mean something. What do you think that it means?
I mean, I think that there was just a space. There was just a space in the culture that was cut out, you know, for that. For the character of that project, is a, you know, space in the culture that was just cut out for it. You know, there's a few albums that are like that. Like, you know, I used to listen. I am and people that know me know that I'm a diehard Tribe fan. You know what I mean? And so I followed everything they've ever done. You know, I was very much into their history and where they came from, and you know, just this Tip's musical dimension. I never really understood how his process of finding those type of samples actually came about, because it was just one of the most unique musical perspectives I think I've ever heard. You know, and I heard them, you know, talk about that first album, and it really made a lot of sense, you know, hearing them say that, you know, it's just carved out a place in the culture, you know, carved out a place in the culture. And that's just pretty much how I feel about, you know, emotional. It was just one of those projects that carved out a place, you know, in the culture. You know what I'm saying? The Any Heartbreak album, it carved out a place in the culture. You know what I mean?
That album.
The Don't Be Cruel album, the I'll Be Sure, the first I'll Be Sure album, carved out a place in the culture.
Denim jackets and unibrows for everyone.
Yeah. The first Guy album, the Mary J. Blige My Life album. You know what I'm saying? There's certain albums that carve out spaces in the culture, and you know, it's really an honor, you know, for that album to have achieved that status.
Yeah, you got a shout out from Jay-Z singing your song in his song that everybody then sang in the club while they were bubbling at Dublin's. Is Dublin's even still open?
Hell no. What are you talking about? There's like no club open.
I went there. Oh man, check it for.
Did you now?
The season. Don't tell anybody, Carl. I don't want to talk about that.
Do you know the club that he was talking about before he said bubbling in Dublin?
What was the other club? Run it back.
When he said to Peanuts in LA.
Yeah. I've heard of the stories. I've never actually.
I haven't. Please.
Well, I'm about to say, what do you know about Peanuts?
Regale me with these stories. It sounds dicey.
Man, rest
Maybe
in
a little
peace.
Donnie
Rest
Goins.
in peace. My homegirl, that was a party that was founded by a very good friend of mine. Her name is Michelle Triple X. She just recently passed away of breast cancer.
Sorry to hear that.
But it was a really fun, magical place where there was
magical.
It was wonderful. Yeah,
the description is so vague though, Carl. I don't really know.
When you think about places like Peanuts, you know, you kind of want to search for that Michael Jackson vernacular in describing that, to where it's like a place of magic and wonderment.
I'm very confused. I don't really know what to take from that.
You're supposed
to be. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because what we know about Michael Jackson now, it could go either way. It could be magical, or it could be somebody.
You mean what we've heard?
What we now know.
What we've heard.
We're not gonna get into this. We're not gonna get into this.
Sure we are. Because You know why we can get
we
right into
talking
this?
about emotional, Carl.
Because
you
I
pointing at me, he pointing at me,
that
I'm pointing at him.
I absolutely know that
Y'all
you are
can't
not
see
on
it
the
because
case.
it's a podcast. It's a podcast. But me and
You
Carl
were not
are
on the
at each
Jackson
other.
case.
And Eddie is just trying to point because he want to be a part
I just want
of
to
this
point
fight.
because everybody else is pointing. You're right. It's like everybody else is pointing.
We all pointing.
One point
Spider-Man
before we get out of here that I want to talk about. Carl, have you been watching these battles that Swiss and Timberland have been putting together?
Yeah. I thought that the Neo Jonte Austin situation, I thought that was really cool. You know, because I've known Jonte since he was a young teenager, and he never got the the shot as an artist that he should have really by right had.
Yeah.
But it was an opportunity for people to understand that face behind all those songs.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I just thought that was incredible. You know what I mean? Yeah.
There's a big one coming up on Saturday. Babyface versus
Yeah.
Who you
I
got?
don't really. Well, I think that Babyface is gonna do well, but I think that Teddy's gonna really pull that out because it's hard to beat the energy of the club.
That's true.
And that's what Face is up against. Babyface is definitely, Teddy is definitely up against, a bunch of solid mainstream hits. But, man.
We're definitely playing Roach Liquor and Peanuts.
Yeah, but whenever you go against the energy, there is, put it like this, right? To be a star, you can either have the power of promoting a good time, or you can have the power of drawing vulnerability out of people. Mm-hmm. Those are the two ways that you can be a star. It can make you a star, right? Now, to be a superstar, you have to possess both the ability to draw vulnerability out of people and to promote a good time at the same time. You know what I mean? So what you're dealing with is Babyface definitely has the gift of drawing vulnerability out of people, but Teddy's drawn vulnerability and promoted that good time. You know what I mean? So all I'm saying is I don't know what's going to happen, but that's going to be hard to beat.
Well, I'll be tuned in. Killer will be.
I'm going to just wait for Teddy to break out the Jaheim records. I'm kidding. That's RL. They kind of look alike, though.
That's not happening. Brother Carl Thomas.
Man, I appreciate you guys. I really, I hope you guys, tune in. I'm going to get started around 11 o'clock East Coast time because I want it to be something that, people can listen to and go to bed on.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's going to.
Are you doing it on your IG?
It's not. Yeah, I'm definitely doing it on my IG at Carl Thomas now. It'll be fun. So, just kind of hang out with me and don't lie and say you got something else to do because you don't.
I'm gonna be present with my white linen shirt. Hillary's gonna have her shiny suit on.
Yes.
Well, it's gonna be real dark in there, so just understand that. It's gonna be real dark and seedy in there.
Oh, this is gonna be like this club that y'all know about that I don't know.
You should really do your research on Peanuts, man.
I am. I'm gonna hit the Googles because y'all won't tell me nothing. I'm nosy.
I'll tell you.
It's a secret society.
He's like, I'll tell you.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Everybody went there. It was very.
Hillary didn't go there, Carl. Hillary didn't go there.
It was very celebrity laden.
And,
well, I was. And it was a place where it was a place where basically you could take your girlfriend there to find a girlfriend.
My girl got a girlfriend. Hey.
Got it.
Yeah.
Noted.
Yeah.
Got
yeah. And it was the tomfoolery that you were into when you were in your 20s, you know. That type of tomfoolery.
Well, thank you so much on taking us down this lovely road of memory, tomfoolery that I don't remember, but that you all get to share. I'm glad that you have that moment together. Yes, thank you for taking us on this emotional journey, Mr.
Nah,
Carl.
man, I appreciate y'all, man. It's always cool, you know, to get together with cool people and kick it. Especially when we're talking about, you know, the continuance of R&B and keeping the genre strong, and you know, going the way it needs to go. You know, so that's always the objective. I support all R&B artists, regardless to how or what people think about them. There's a place for everybody, and everybody has a role in, you know, catapulting the music into the future, you know?
Yep. That's what we're talking about. The cast of R&B, yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carl Thomas.
Thank y'all, man. Much appreciated.
Eddie has all his little bells and whistles. He's so pumped. He's Eddie. I'm Hillary. That was Carl. Thank you so much for listening.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye. All right. Leave the meeting.
Yeah, he just dropped the mic on us.
Yeah, he did. He was like, bye.
Wait a minute, like, wait, where'd you go? Where'd you go?